Let the record show that Mr. Flaherty, Mr. Salvo, and I are present, along with Town Manager Michael Units. Pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Okay, on the licenses and permits, you folks want to come on up? We have a number of these we have to deal with tonight, so. First of all, why don't you give us an update for the record, your name, please?
Sure. My name's Rich Brady. I work for the PGA Tour, organize the tournament at TPC Boston. Everything's going along well. Build started a few weeks ago. We have a new title sponsor this year in Dell Technologies, but we'll still welcome the top 100 players in the PGA Tour over Labor Day weekend. So I expect a good turnout, good crowd as always, and appreciate all your help as always with everything as we plan the event.
Yeah, with the weather, we can only hope that we'll have a halfway decent weekend.
That's it. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it might be snowing by then, actually.
That will be watched my weather report on the YouTube channel.
Wish us luck.
So the event, it starts, what's the dates on it this year?
So we'll open to the public on Wednesday, August the 30th, and we conclude on Monday, Labor Day, September the 4th.
Okay. As usual, it's always a great forum to have in town. We enjoy having that popularity for a few days.
It's nice.
Even though it does say the TPC of Boston, we'll get over that someday. But, you know, I mean, it is in Norton, so they're getting to the point now where they recognize that fact. TPC of Norton. So.
And good evening, gentlemen. My name's Sean Whalen. I'm the Food and Beverage Director at TPC Boston. This is my second year in the role, so it's nice to see everybody again, and we're looking forward to a great tournament again.
That sounds great. So we have a number of licenses we have to deal with here, and we'll get to it. Anything else you want to add to the event? Anything else?
No, business as usual.
All right. Well, we'll get to work then. Okay. First of all, we have an application of Dan Woliski from TPC Boston for one-day all-alcohol license to be utilized at the TPC Boston Golf Course, 400 Arnold Palmer Road, Arnold Palmer Boulevard, Norton, Massachusetts, 02766, as follows. Dell Technology Championship Sky Chalet, number 18th hole, 8:31 to 9/4/17, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for a private party. A motion to approve the chalet on 18.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. We have to do a roll call on this. Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Salvo?
Yes.
And I too vote yes. Next, we have Dell Technology Championship member tent. Will be from August 30th to September 4th, from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. for a private party. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Salvo?
Yes.
And I too vote yes. There are stipulations that details are required by the chief of police and appropriate visible signage for 2 drink limit per person for services. That pretty much goes for all of this, so.
Okay, understood.
Okay, next we have an application for Levy Premium Food Services LP for a one-day beer and wine license to be utilized at the TPC of Boston Golf Course, the entire green area, 400 Arnold Palmer Boulevard, Norton, Massachusetts, 02766, from August 29th to September 4th, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. for a private party. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Salvo?
Yes.
I too vote yes. Okay, next we have applications of Second Harvest Food Bank of Metrolina Incorporated, 2614 Highway, 516, second floor, Old Bridge, New Jersey, 08857, for a one-day all-alcohol license from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the TPC Boston Golf Course, 400 Arnold Palmer Boulevard, Norton, Massachusetts, for a private party as follows.
Yes. CDW at 15th Green Sky Chalet from 8:31 to 9/3/17. Can we read them all? We're going to approve them that way?
Yeah, I think we have to do each one individually, so motion,
I think where this is
we're
one
under one,
vendor,
let's just do it under
you
one.
Okay, sounds good to me. Cornell Limited Partnership at 15th Green Sky Chalet, 8:31 to 9/3/17. Multi-Box Partners at 16th Green Sky Chalet, 8/31 to 9/3/17. Wall Street Journal at 16th Fairway Sky Chalet, 8/31 to 9/4/17. Multiple Partner Suite at 16th Green Sky Box at 8/31 to 9/4/17. Vivid Seat Signature Suite at 16th T Sky Chalet, 8/3 to 9/4/17. Wedgewood Club at 16th Green, 8/31 to 9/4/17. Military Patriot Outpost at 17th Green Sky Chalet, 8/31 to 9/4/17.
Flaherty?
Charles Schwab at 17th Green Sky Chalet, 8/31 to 9/4/17. FedEx at 17th Green Sky Chalet, 8/31 to 9/4/17. Anheuser-Busch at 17th Green Sky Chalet, 8/31 to 9/4/17. Gulf Oil at 17th Green Sky Chalet, 8/31 to 9/4/17. Comcast Business at 17th Green Sky Chalet, 8/31 to 9/4/17. Harbor One at 18th Green, 9/1 to 9/4/17. CBS Radio Safety at 18th Green, 9/1 to 9/4/17. Club Seats at 18th Green, 9/1 to 9/4/17. Sky Deck at 18th Green, 9/1 to 9/4/17. Grey Goose Lounge at 16th Fairway, 8/29 to 9/4/17. William Hill Wine Lounge at 11th Green, 8/29 to 9/4/17. City Card Member Club at 16th Fairway, 8/29 to 9/4/17. 9th Green, 8/29 to 9/4/17.
I noticed you get excited about the Grey Goose Lounge.
I'll be there.
We have the 19th hole from 8:29 to 9/4/17. The Champions Club at 17th tee from 8:29 to 9/4/17. Spectator Oasis at 17th tee, 8:29 to 9/4/17. Spectator Oasis Bar at 17th tee, 8:29 to 9/4/17. Fan Zone at 17th Fairway, 8:29 to 9/4/17. 7th Green, 8:29 to 9/4/17. Third tee, 8:29 to 9/4/17. 11th Green, 8:29 to 9/4/17. 18th Beverage at 18th Green, 8:29 to 9/4/17. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, 8:29 to 9/4/17. Multiple Partner Suite at 18th Green, 8:31 to 9/4/17. And the Military Patriot Outpost at 17T, 8/31 to 9/4/17. With the stipulation that details are required by the Chief of Police and appropriate visible signage for 2 drinks limit per person, per service. Chair will entertain a motion to approve these many liquor requests.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Anyone?
Thank you very much,
Okay,
everyone.
Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Yes.
So, and I do vote yes. Good luck over there. Let us know
Thank
if you need anything.
Yeah, hope to see you there.
We're
Thank you.
excited, we're excited
Thank
about
you.
all of it.
All right, you too.
Thank
The
you.
steakhouse is a new one this year, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a lot of new ones this year.
Busy year, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, under announcements, you had anything, Mr.?
I do have a couple announcements. First announcement, I wanted to let everybody know out there, we still have an opening on the Housing Authority for a member. Anybody who's interested, please send a letter to the town manager's office, 70 East Main Street in Norton, regarding they'd like to join that, the Norton Housing Authority. We've been down a member for a couple of years now, so we'd like to fill that up. And the other thing I'd like to ask anybody that's interested in joining the Recreation Commission, there's some openings for people who want to volunteer to help out with the recreation activities that go on to the town. So anybody that's interested, send a letter to 70 East Main Street in Norton regarding you'd be interested to be on the board, and we'd get you in here for a little interview and move along. That's all I have, Mr.
Two
Chairman.
very important projects coming us very soon is the Halloween parade and the Christmas lighting of the town commons, so it'd be nice to have some help getting those things done in the very near future. Yes.
Just when we're doing that, just a reminder, we also have an opening for our representative to the Southeastern Regional School District.
Now, that's elected.
It's elected, and so this appointment would be until
So if someone's interested in giving it a try, now is the chance to try
Right.
it. See if you like it, if you like the position, you can always run again next year for it. Mr. Flaherty?
No, I have nothing, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, on the new business, we have Mr. Coleman J. Foley, Reason Fire Sprinkler Systems Annual Fees at the Great Brook, 20 Godfrey Drive, Norton, Massachusetts. Want to come on up?
Good evening again. We were here in December.
So
Congratulations on the new member.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
so can you give us an update on what's going on over
Yeah,
there?
just a quick question. I submitted to the town manager's office a package that included a letter with a legal memo attached,
Yes, we have that.
and we'll be referring to that, if not, okay. Well, we came here in December to express our disappointment and our somewhat anger and our skepticism about the new fee, whether it was really necessary, number one, and with a hint at the time that it may in fact be a tax in disguise and not a legally authorized fee. So we struggled with it, and we paid our bills, and we went back and forth with our counsel of record, a local firm, and, you know, how best to approach this from our standpoint, because we do hope to challenge it as best we can. And went back and forth, and they said, well, listen, first of all, you got to make the payments, continue the payments, and then apply for a fee abatement. Okay, back and forth. And then our counsel said, well, this is a little bit beyond the scope of his normal legal activities. And he suggested that he knew of someone at the Boston office of a major firm who had experience in matters such as this. And that resulted in the legal memorandum that came to us, and we batted it back and forth, and we decided the best approach was to send a letter to the Board of Sewer and Water Commissioners, which we did do. It's dated July 11th, which is the date we presented it to them at their meeting a week ago Tuesday. And if you've read it, I can dispense with reading it unless you insist that I read it into the record.
I don't think I insist that you read it in, but if you'd like to read it just so other people out there can hear it,
That would be fine.
if you want to do that, that would be great.
No, that would be fine. Let me get my glasses on.
I'm not expecting you to read the whole memorandum from your
No,
from your attorney,
no.
but if you want to read your letter, that would be fine.
The legal memorandum are generally good for sleep aids.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. It's on our stationery, the Great Brook at 20 Godfrey Drive, to the Board of Water Sewer Commissioners, July 11th, regarding the fire sprinkler systems. Dear Commissioners, Great Brook Condominium Trust Board of Trustees, Great Brook, is hereby requesting an abatement and refund of all sprinkler fees paid by the trust. We are also requesting that the Commissioners rescind its vote of July 13th, 2016, thus eliminating the fee. Great Brook is now of the opinion that the fee is not within the powers of the Commissioners to authorize and, in fact, constitutes an unlawful tax. Attached, which you have, is a memorandum from the Boston office of Seifert Shaw Attorneys, which has helped form our opinion. Great Brook hereby waives its right to claim that the memorandum is privileged and confidential attorney-client communication, so we don't care who sees it, and we won't insist that it is private and confidential. And we invite your attention, the Board of Water Commissioners, to major legal arguments in the memorandum. Number one, the charge bears no relationship to the services provided and is collected merely to raise revenue. Number two, the charge is not paid in exchange for services that benefit property owners, quote, in a manner not shared by other members of society, close quote. Three, the property owners cannot avoid the charge. Number four, various references to relevant court cases supporting the above numbers 1, 2, and 3. And those are quoted right from the legal memorandum, as is the wording of an unlawful tax noted above. We also urge the Commissioners to have Town Council Copeland and Page review and render an opinion on this matter. Great Brook shares the Commissioners' goal of providing clean, safe water to Norton, but in a manner consistent with proper authorization of fees to provide such services. And the letter is signed by all 5 members of the Board of Trustees, with a carbon copy to the Norton Board of Selectmen, which I know you have. Well, we went before the water commissioners, and we were treated cordially, and they allowed me to read the letter, which I passed out to them, and read it into the record. And I encouraged them to ask questions, although I did point out that I am not an attorney, I'm just a retired banker. And we were immediately told that they had no interest in discussing legal matters. Okay, fine. We did have a nice 15-minute conversation about clean water and what they're up to, and it helped us understand a little bit more what the challenges are. So, in the meantime, people might ask, why are we here before the Board of Selectmen? Well, we appreciate the independence and respect the independence that the Board of Water Commissioners have as elected officials. That independence is not absolute, though, as I know you know. But as you go onto the Norton website, description of the Board of Selectmen, the executive powers of the town shall be vested in the Board of Selectmen, which shall be deemed to be the chief executive office of the town. It's also the chief policy-making agency of the town in order to bring all the committees and boards together into harmony, quote. I know we like harmony in town government.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, and then, you know, the selectmen have an abiding interest, I think, in matters that don't pertain just to sewer and water or schools or this, and they have an overriding interest in everything that goes on in town, in our view. And their independence is constrained by several factors. Number one, their superintendent is appointed by the town manager, who is appointed by the Board of Selectmen. The town treasurer is indeed the custodian of the water and sewer funds, appointed by the selectmen. The town treasurer issues any bond and sewer waters and any other debt with the approval of the selectmen. Bond issues, all of them, are approved by town meeting, as is the Board of Water Sewer Commissioner's budget, including any debt service, which is a separate article in the town meeting, as you know. So we feel that by coming here, we are proclaiming, if we can, that we have we think we have a valid legal argument that it is really not an action that was authorized by law for the sewer commissioners and water commissioners to do this, and that in fact it constitutes an unjust and unlawful tax. And I'm not sure what more we can say. We urge the selectmen to engage Copeland and Page to get their opinion on this. I mean, it's always good to have a separate opinion by your own attorneys as to a matter such as this. Imagine, if you will, that several years or a year from now, or whenever, something goes to court and the town has deemed, well, the Water and Sewer Commissioners have been deemed to approve an unlawful tax. And by the way, the court might order them to pay back everything that's been paid over the years. So I think it's absolutely necessary for the selectmen to have a firm grasp of what this issue is and whether or not it really is an unlawful tax. With that, I pass it to you for any questions you may have.
Don't you love our Puritan form of government, though? Isn't it great? We have other elected boards that we have to deal with ourselves, and where they're elected and we're elected, sometimes there is a gray area in between.
Of course.
We all understand that.
Right.
When you start talking, with attorneys and stuff like that, even this board will normally not get involved in it because we don't know where it's going to go. And
Yeah, sure.
We have an interest to protect the taxpayers and making sure that
Yep.
we don't open our big mouths and say something we shouldn't say.
That's true.
But I do agree with Copeland and Page taking a look at this, and I'm going to encourage my board members to do the same.
Okay.
And I want to see an opinion on it also. I'd like to know what it's all about.
Yep.
Not sure. Do you know if there's any other condos in town that are running in the same issue you are?
Well, we know Red Mill, I think, is.
Red Mill has.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
have.
And there are presumably others as well. Do you know, Mal? Our chairman has,
Yeah, who has sprinkler system? Red Mill Village?
Red Mill,
No.
they're not even charged as much as we are. And then there are some
Yeah.
smaller condo associations that our attorney
Yeah.
handles that
Yeah.
that are also being charged. for this.
So you're not the only one. I guess my question.
no, we're not the only one. Any multifamily building has to have sprinklers and will be charged this fee, unless they were grandfathered, and there are several that are grandfathered in the Water and Sewer Commissioner's files.
Can I ask you what your fee is per year? Do you know how much is
Oh,
it?
it's $13,000 a year.
13,000?
Yep.
The Great Brook was built in,
Started in 2015 it started. Is that right? First buildings in 2015? Two first buildings were in 2015, as I recall. No, 2000, no, wait a minute, no, 2005?
yeah, I'm gonna say,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it
couldn't
was,
have been 15. I moved in 09.
yeah, I know it was a number of years ago. So when the sprinkler system was put in, do you know if you were charged a fee?
We,
The contractor was charged a fee for it?
we don't believe so. What-
2001.
2001, the first buildings, okay, yeah. We can find no record that the contractor has been charged.
Okay,
the fee.
just curious. That's-
Yeah. If they had paid a fee, I think we'd be grandfathered. Is that not correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyone have any questions?
Well, thank you for your time.
Well, we're going
Unless-
to, just to let you know,
Yeah.
we will ask, with your permission, consensus, that we
Yeah.
will get an opinion from
Okay,
our
we
town
appreciate
council
that, yeah.
and see what they have to say about
Okay.
it. too.
Yep, we wait,
And as soon
we
as get
anxiously
any
await their
information,
opinion.
We'll get back to you guys and let you know what you think.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Come on up.
And thanks for approving the Patriot Outpost up at the TPC.
You're welcome.
It's at the 17th tee. My colleague, Dick Cruz.
I had-
Excuse my appearance, I
That's-
got myself shaven.
Oh, you're supposed, yeah. You're supposed to have something more heroic than that.
Yeah, jumped on a grenade or something, you know, right? No, I just have one question. When this went into effect and the night that, in fact, it was a pretty exciting night when you had the Water Commission here and you guys, and they blindsided you, I know they did at that time. But you people have been hit just the same way we have. You owe the town hall, the police station, the library, the fire station, and the schools.
Right.
Okay? Is it a fair question to say, have they paid anything?
Have we paid, Mr. Town Manager?
I will have to check with Carol.
You know, we'd appreciate that, because, I mean, we're paying, and
Yeah.
we're paying on time and everything, and if the towns are not billing up to the bar, then,
I would imagine
What
we
does that say?
did, or I would have heard from
Yeah,
them
well,
by
I think
now.
we would have heard, we all would have heard, but we will get you an answer on that
all right, I'd
and let you
appreciate
know. But to your point, we also have a vested interest in what this is all about.
Yeah, I
So
understand.
we need to find out get to the bottom of it ourselves, so,
All right. Well, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you're doing better. Yes, sir, come on up.
Just want to make one point.
Come on up, you have to get in front of the camera and smile, come on.
Didn't plan on this. Just that if the town has to pay this additional assessment, it's going to be passed on into taxes
That's right.
to the rest of the people here, and that means we're not only paying the fee, we're paying additional taxes on the fees for everything. Thank you.
You are correct. Anyone else? Okay, we'll get you some answers, and I'll have the town manager reach out to you with some information as soon as we get it, okay? And at some point, if we think it's in everyone's best interest, we'll have you come on back and we'll talk some more about it. Okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see, we got all that stuff done anyway, let's see. Under new business,
Cheech and Chong.
zoning for recreational marijuana.
That's all they did too, didn't they?
Give you an update. You probably saw that the legislature finally came to an agreement on a bill. And in the bill that they came to an agreement on, it's really weird the way they did it. Towns that voted no to legalize marijuana, it's just, you do not need to have a vote at the ballot box to ban the sale of marijuana in your town.
Really?
The towns that voted yes, it requires a ballot vote in order to ban marijuana sales in your town. So Norton voted yes, 5,312 to 4,425. So it will, if you want to ban the sale of marijuana, it will require a vote of the town. Now, one of the issues is that we're not going to have our election, is it the third week in April or second week?
The last week in April,
Right, the last week in April. So
last Tuesday.
April 1st, people can start applying for licenses.
Okay.
And your vote can't be retroactive. So if you vote in the end of April to ban the sale of marijuana, and someone comes in on April 1st and says they want to sell marijuana in Norton at this
They
location,
grandfathered?
they'd be grandfathered. So you have to, if you want to ban the sale, you have to declare the moratorium to a date beyond the town election, so that no one could come in the meantime. Now, with this sale, they did put in there that there'd be a 3% local tax on the sale of marijuana. Now, I have no way of knowing how much, right now, our zoning is that it would have to be in Commerce
The
Way.
industrial park, yeah.
And I have no idea of knowing how much money someone could make there, what the sales would be, to see how much money the town would bring in at 3%.
Does
So-
the 3% go directly to the town?
It would go directly to the town, just like, it'd
Meal
be
tax?
just like the meals tax. You know, the hotel tax and the meals tax, we don't do anything. They just quarterly electronically send us the money.
So my understanding that, I mean, the rules are changing as we go here too, right? So is it etched in stone about what the guidelines are for this type of facility or for growing, you know, the marijuana, how that's all going to work? I know they're working on it. Did they have any final? Decision
No,
made?
they have to form a committee, what do they call it? The Cannabis Commission, I believe they're gonna call it, and they will be setting the guidelines. So they don't expect anyone to be ready until next July. They don't expect to have their guidelines ready until next July.
So
What
they're
is-
not,
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
What was the application fee for somebody that wanted to do this? Wasn't it, I heard it was substantial. Huge
I
money.
know previously for the medical marijuana, it was. No, I don't know if that's in this bill. I'll have to check that. I don't know if they've got any provision in there like that.
And does our zoning only address medical marijuana, or does it
No,
just marijuana sales, period?
Yeah, we did that a number of years ago. We decided to establish a zone or an area, and we put it in the, like adult entertainment is also in the same area. It's in the commercial commerce park. That's the only place we've designated, which is on the outside of town.
Yep.
And I'll check into that, whether it said medical marijuana.
Mm.
I mean, I have an opinion, I don't have an opinion one way or the other. I think the voters decided that they wanted to allow this to happen. I'm one of those square people, even though I grew up in that generation, I never tried this stuff.
I never did either.
But probably a good thing I didn't, too. Thing is that, you know, if it's the will of the people to have it, so be it, but I want some guidelines in place to make sure that everybody's protected and that it's done properly, too, at the same time. So if we can put a moratorium in place until the next election, I would suggest we consider doing that for two reasons. First of all, I would like the taxpayers of Norton to decide whether or not the townspeople decide if they want to sell this type of product in their town, not even sell it, but maybe even grow it. And number two, I'd like the legislatures to start getting more solid guidelines in place, which they don't have so far. I mean, this was the question that was raised by the private sector, was put on the ballot. And, you know, sometimes not all the rules are taken into consideration because we don't all know the rules as they stand, so. But I would like to have an opportunity, at least let the people in Norton decide if they want to allow it. And again, it's only going to be in the Commerce Center anyway, but, you know, people may have an opinion one way or the other. They may not.
Right.
I don't know how I feel about it. I really don't. I want to see more about what they're proposing.
And it's not going to be like when you go in Boston, you go buy methadone mile. Those people are still going to buy their drugs on the street.
Sure.
This is more, but
What I'd like to see, I mean, right now, if it was approved and it was allowed there, you know, the tax that comes back to the town of 3%, You know, that's more of an honor system. I don't kind of like that versus if you go to the drugstore, not the drugstore, but a gas station, a convenience store, you buy a pack of cigarettes, they're all stamped and approved by the state, and they know how many they sell, so you know that the money is actually supposed to be going to the right proper place. This way here, I mean, you know, there's got to be a way to regulate it so that the towns don't get gypped on that 3%, you know.
Well-
How do you prove the sales? That's-
Well, and if I understand it correctly, and I think I'm right on this, the federal government still bans the sale of marijuana. So these people cannot use banks.
Okay.
Strictly cash.
Oh, wow.
They cannot use
I guess
the
see.
banking system. It's federally regulated,
Right.
so it's strictly cash.
That's beautiful.
That opens up a different element. It's funny, I just watched a movie last night, and there was somebody, armored car got knocked off for that reason. They were going around collecting all the cash from all the different places.
So will we put this on the town meeting for fall? A discussion about, the people want to allow that to be sold in our
Does it
town?
have to go to the ballot?
Has to go ballot.
You'd put the moratorium on for the fall, and then you'd have to put a ballot question on in
I think we should.
April.
I think we should too.
Another thing that came out was interesting from the state Supreme Court last week was a case where someone got fired because they failed a test. They tested positive for marijuana, and they had a prescription. And the court ruled that that prescription is just like any other prescription someone may have, and that you cannot fire someone for failing a test for marijuana when they have a prescription for medical marijuana.
My understanding, if you have, through OSHA, if you have truck drivers or people that
They're
work with equipment,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if they get caught, even though it's legal,
Right.
they get caught with
Lose your
that in
CDL.
their system,
lose the CDL,
and
yeah.
they can be terminated, and they can be fired, and it's,
Right, because the CDL is federal,
Yeah.
and so
so it's
it's federal transportation, so
kind of
they
a
can.
mess.
Yeah, it is kind of a mess.
But I would agree that we should put a warrant article on the warrant for,
And I don't know did you get any information on that? I can email you the draft article.
which I saw it.
Okay.
Didn't the planning board send down something too?
They did. They had Copeland and Page review it, and that they sent down the article for the moratorium.
Did they take a position on
I believe they're in favor of a moratorium.
it? Okay. It would have to be reverted back to them anyway at some point, right? But we can agree to at least put a moratorium question on the warrant. Okay. Any other questions about it?
We would need, if it does just specify medical marijuana, because if memory serves, I think it just is specific to the medical.
Yeah.
We would have to put
We'd have
that
to
question
look at
on
that,
town
too.
meeting as well, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Next on the agenda, we have a vote to assign an agreement between the town of Norton and Paul S. Capinos and Associates Incorporated DBA PK Valuation Group for the implementation of a fiscal 2018 to 2020 recertification program. This is a time for that recertification.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a company that we're comfortable with. We did do an RFP, and we've used them before. And the assessors have already reviewed the contract and approved it, and they're recommending this to the board.
Anyone have a question? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion to find it. That's right.
You need it?
To vote, to agree to, sign the agreement between the town of Norton and Paul S. Capinos and Associates Incorporated, DBA PK Valuation Group for the implementation of fiscal 2018 and 2020 recertification program.
So moved.
Second?
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Okay. This might, looks to me like I got the originals.
Okay.
I don't know if you can have them back. I'm not sure if that's the case. Under new business, we have a vote to set the fall town meeting and open the warrant. Mr. Units?
Yep. I'm recommending that you set the town meeting for Monday, October 23rd at 7 PM at the high school, and open the warrant immediately. And then we would fax notice to the newspaper on the 28th, notify all departments and boards and committees on the 28th that the warrant is open. Articles will be accepted until 3:30 PM on August 23rd, which would be 61 days before the meeting as required. And then the warrant would go to the FinCom Chair and Moderator on September 11th, 19 days before the town meeting. And then the last day to post the warrant would be on October 12th, 11 days before town meeting. And the warrant with recommendations would be posted on the 13th.
Pretty standard. Of course, the first one we want to do is that we want to go, the marijuana issue should be on the warrant. But okay, so following these guidelines, there's no problem with holidays or anything like that, right?
No,
Doesn't
we're
look like everything's
squished in
pretty-
there. We've got
Pretty in good shape.
Columbus Day on the 9th, Halloween on the
31st.
31st, the town election November 7th, Yom Kippur is September 29th, so.
Yeah, looks like it's in pretty good shape. Anyone have any questions?
Good.
Okay. For the recommendations of the town manager, I would make a motion to, entertain a motion to approve the dates and guidelines established by the list that's been presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. What do we have, have anything set so far for the October town meeting? Any articles so far, other than the marijuana one?
No, people have talked about, we've got a couple articles, the marijuana, and also one looking to change the zoning regulations on non-conforming lots. That'll probably be coming forward, and nothing else that I know right now.
Well, the other thing we want to talk about too is I honestly feel that this, I know it's a policy of the board that we can establish accounts, and we talked about taking some of the available cash.
Yeah.
Free cash. But I'm not too sure I wouldn't want the approval of town meeting, even though we have the ability to do that. We are reaching into the pot and pulling some money out of it for whatever reason. Maybe just put a placeholder on it, Mike, just in case we decide to do that. You know, we may or may not, but let's see how it turns out. Under old business, we have a review and vote to right of first refusal, a statement for a statement of proposed use under Chapter 61A, Fairland Farms LLC, a small portion of land located off Bear Road. Mr. Units? You're supposed to call that in.
I know, I should have come. This, as you know, this was a request that came before the board before.
Is that little strip
Yeah.
at the nursery?
What it is, I can hold it here. This property right now is owned by the Cogliano family, Blueview Nursery. And these are the properties right here, here, and here that they're looking to purchase. It's about 5¼ acres of property. And the reason you voted before not to exercise our right as an option to purchase the property, and then you later rescinded that because the Conservation Commission said they hadn't received notice.
Right.
They now have received notice. I did tell them you were gonna take this up tonight. They met this week, but they tabled it. They didn't take action on it, so.
So we're not taking any we obviously have to wait for them to
Yep.
decide they want to exercise that first option or not. the funny thing about this parcel is all the way, it pretty much wraps all the way around it. You know, it's a, and this
And-
obviously was a right-of-way at some point.
Now, just to clarify this, I know we're not gonna take action on it, but does that do any good to conservation at all, to,
Not right now, because
I mean, would
they
it,
would have to present a good argument as to
Exactly.
why,
exactly,
because this is still all owned by Bottom Line.
yep, right, that's what I was
It
trying
doesn't
to,
abut any land that we own.
okay,
Not only that, you have a right-of-way here,
yes,
it goes in, but then you lose it. It's
deadlocks.
landlocked in the back.
Right, landlocked.
It becomes landlocked on the other two parcels in the back, so the only parcel that really we'd have access to would be the one on the far left. So it's kind of a wacky setup to begin with. I mean, I can think of a lot of other pieces of land that would be more valuable.
it's more value to the nursery than.
Yeah, the
something.
nursery, definitely. And, you know, if, from a business point of view, if they can use it and they can do better with it,
Yeah.
I'm all for it myself.
Right,
I don't have a problem with it, plus they'll pay taxes on it.
right, well,
Conservation won't pay taxes on it.
That's correct.
So we'll put that on the next agenda, if they take action on it.
Well, do you want to put it on the next agenda after their next meeting and tell them next meeting for them, take some action?
Yeah, whatever,
Because it's coming back.
whatever you want.
All right.
That's fine. Whatever works.
sounds good to me.
Okay, next we have an update on the pond management.
Things have been going well with the treatments, and hopefully, just to remind people that this is a continuing program. You know, it'd be nice if we treated everything once and that was it, no more, but it'll be an ongoing program. And I know that Solitude seems to think that what they've been doing has provided great coverage, and it's been working, but, you know, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know how this wet season affected. It's been so wet this summer like you usually wouldn't see. I don't know whether that diluted anything that they've done, but they'll be preparing a report for us, and we'll bring that back at a later time. I know the reservoir, to me, has looked much better this year than last year, but hopefully,
I try to explain to some people that, you know, they say, oh, it doesn't look like it's doing anything. I said, listen, it's our first application. You know, it's gonna take time. You know, certain areas are gonna go better than others, and the ones that are really overgrowth are gonna take a little bit more work at it. I said, but it will show an improvement. And then when they get out a little farther, it has been a little better than,
right.
you know, that is, but,
I've seen some bigger boats out in the middle of the reservoir that you haven't seen in a while.
right.
It must be getting better in the middle
Yeah.
anyway. The edges maybe have some more work to do, but did we pass, someone, I don't know if you remember, you might have got the copy of the email. I guess now that it's cleaning up and the bigger boats are getting out there, did we pass some kind of bylaws recently about size of boat? motor?
Yes.
We did that,
Yeah.
we did that not too long
The
ago,
last time, I mean.
yeah. Do we need to make signs up or anything, or do we have signs posted?
We should.
Because I think we should, because as it
As
gets
people
better,
know it's getting better, they're gonna,
they'll be out there with their water skis, which I'm looking forward to seeing that happen. I really am. I don't have a problem with it. But we should have, whatever rules we adopted, we should at least let people know what they are. I'm not sure what they are, so I wouldn't expect anyone else to know it. If we can find out, maybe get some signs made up.
Yep.
I know we had things like, we had a ban on
Jet skis.
jet skis, because they were getting out there for a while. They were awful out there for a while. But, yeah, if we could find that out, that would be great. Okay, anything else?
Just, we had talked briefly, one of the other meetings about the Community Preservation Act. So I'll try and get some information on that and bring it back at a later date. I did talk to our assessor in the community that she was at before, had the Community Preservation Act, and what they did 1.5%. And just remember that it's not like, say, it's not like a 2.5 override where, you know, it's whatever your tax bill is, your total tax bill per house, you'd add the 1.5% to it. And what they did in her town was they exempted the first 100,000 of someone's house and started there. And it was 1.5%. So say you had a 200, just go 200,000, you take 100,000 off, that's 100,000. And our tax rate is $15.37. So that would be $1,537. Now you'd multiply that by the 1.5%, and it would be $23. So, in other words, if someone's house was worth 300,000, it would be
46.
2 times that, and vice versa. And commercial properties were full assessment, the full they didn't get the 100,000 off. So just an idea of what some other community did.
That's changed a lot, the Preservation Act over the years, because I don't remember it being set up that way. I thought it had to do with the sale of buying or selling a property. And at that time, way back when it started, it was, a percentage of that would go into this pot that would be matched by the state to a certain extent. And the purpose of it was if you wanted to buy conservation land, or if you wanted to buy land or make improvements on town property and stuff like that, you could utilize this money for that purpose. And it sounds like it's changed a lot over the years. So I definitely need to have more information about it.
I'll get that.
Yeah, I mean, you start throwing out there that we're gonna start adding a surcharge every year to the residents of the town, I'm not too sure it's gonna be another,
It'd be like billing the excess water to area departments.
it'll be a hidden tax.
Right.
That's how it's gonna be looked upon, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't look at it. Because at some point, we're gonna come up with a way to get creative and making some money here, to make improvements. I'm not talking about anything else other than making improvements. That money can't be used to add personnel to town departments and stuff like that. It's designed to help you with your infrastructure. That's what it is.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have been concerned about condition of ball fields, that all
Yeah,
would be
exactly.
used for that.
That kind of stuff. But we definitely want to get some more information about it.
Just the public hearing last week for the Route 123 project, I thought it went well. As I said to the state reps, there wasn't really any contentiousness there. Everyone was very positive. And the one issue that was emphasized strongly, I think, by quite a few people was to make sure that those traffic signals come first. And we have sent the letter off to the state, and the state reps also have called the state and are following up on that issue too, emphasizing that rather than just say the contractor gets to decide, no, you tell the contractor to do the traffic signals first. And I know people were concerned when they heard 2019, but it's always been the time frame for this 123 project was 2018 to be on the tip, which means 2019 construction. And we got the lights added into this project. If those lights hadn't been added in this project, it would have been out even further. So it has sped up a little bit for the lights because we're able to get them into this project. So it's a lot that's going to be happening probably in May's town meeting on takings and easements and things like that. But hopefully everything moves forward and we keep going with this project.
Yeah, I mean, it was clear, even to me, when I was sitting there listening to it, it was clear that the bridge improvements aren't a major deal. That's going to be the easy part of the process.
Yeah.
Pine Street to the hump will be somewhat easy because it's already wide. It's from the hump to 495 is where the areas of concern will be, and street widening and taking of land and all that stuff. So, to me, the bridge signalization process is actually the easiest part of the whole project. So why not start there? And if they're doing an RFP, if they're putting out the bid, they can stipulate that in the contract. You will start at 495 and you will come back to Pine Street. I mean, I don't know why they can't stipulate that. And the order was pretty strong about the fact that we want to make sure that it does start at the bridge.
You know, there was one thing that I wanted to bring up, but I didn't think about it until I drive by the bridge all the time. Every other off-ramp from 24 this way, it already has lights except for us.
Yeah.
But I think the big impact that's gonna cause us to happen, they didn't mention this, is that when you put traffic signals there on the, coming from, heading northbound onto 123, that traffic's gonna back up down onto the highway. As it already does now when you don't
Yeah.
have signals. So my theory was, every other off-ramp has a double lane there. Were they talking about widening that off-ramp lane to have right-hand traffic and be able to move? Because you watch what's gonna happen once that light's up there if it's not double wide.
Actually, they weren't talking about making any changes
Right.
So,
other than lights on the off
Were they talking about making it right-hand turn though at the light? Like if you're coming from the south and you come up to the top?
What they were saying was that normally they don't have a light where you take a right, but they're gonna have to have it because there's gonna be a crosswalk in that area for the sidewalk, so there will be a light even for the right turn.
so I think it's gonna happen both ways, southbound and northbound, because that change in that southbound, it's gonna be a T crossing instead of be able to bear to the right and a yield. Everybody's gonna come to the light straight and then be able to take a right.
Yeah.
You know that, it's not gonna be double wide there. I don't know why they never thought about that.
And we have to wait for these lights to go in before we can do anything at North and South Washington, because the feeling is that it's going to abate the traffic between the two.
It's all gonna be part of the same project.
So they're definitely going to put a light there? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought that they were saying that they weren't going to
Yeah,
because
no,
it's
they
going to...
decided that they're
They
gonna
had
try
said,
to.
Oh.
but they changed.
Okay, good.
They did their research and found out that it was.
I mean, there could be a reason why they can't do it because of wetlands issues. That's river and everything
Oh,
else
yeah,
there.
coming up on 495, I think a lot of that had to do with the Canoe River's right
Yeah.
underneath it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they do have restrictions, but still, technology today is different than the
Sure.
1980s when they put that roadway in, so they might be able to do something different there. I have the letter here, and it just basically says that officials of the town of Norton were in attendance for the Mass DOT design public hearing held on July 18, 2017. At the meeting, it was represented by the contractor would have discretion in determining what phase of the 2019 project would be performed first. The town of Norton respectfully requests that the installation of signalization at the I-495 interchange be a top priority, given priority installed as expeditiously as possible to alleviate safety and traffic flow issues. So, it's pretty clear that that's what we would like them to do first. And I talked to the engineer after, and I got the impression she was kind of in agreement with it. She kind of understood where we were coming from. So,
And we went further in there to say that would like to support a Mass DOT in requiring that the successful contractor do the signalization first.
Right. Okay.
Just wanted to thank Representative Howard. Someone had contacted him because the light down on North and South Worcester Street wasn't working properly, the flashing light, even though that's going to be replaced soon.
Not even there, is it?
He got someone out there today to look at that.
Where is it?
I meant North and South Worcester, not North and South Washington when I said so. Sorry.
no, there's no light going there.
Yeah, right.
That,
There's not one going out on Worcester?
North and
Washington.
North
North and
and
South Washington.
Right, okay.
There is a
Yeah,
light going in there right now in North and South Worcester. Eventually, Serpent studied it, and it met the warrant for traffic signalization, and we're filing a project needs form with the state right now to get them to do that.
Thank you, sorry for the confusion on that.
Just a couple of quick things. I had one of my favorite calls again this week, someone calling about FiOS. Had to emphasize that we have no say on what Verizon does, and we'd be glad to have Verizon in town, but they don't seem to want to expand.
Costs so much money.
And I was talking with the secretary in the ZBA office, and she is going to work on putting up on their website timelines for a variance. People don't understand how it takes the time. They meet once a week. once a month, excuse me, the ZBA. Every town's the same. ZBA meets once a month. And you have to file, if you file in June, you have to file before their meeting in June to be heard in July. And then there's a 21-day appeal period after that. So it is a long process, and so we want to put that up there so people understand, so they plan accordingly. And the example I always use is if some kids are hot in the beginning of June and they tell their father, let's get a pool at Namco, and they go to Namco to get the above-ground pool, they order it, and then the contractor that's going to install it goes to pull the permit, and they say, well, you got a legal non-conforming lot. You got to go to the ZBA. So they file in June for a hearing in July, and then there's a 21-day appeal period after that. So by then, the summer's over, and they don't get their pool. If you're going to put in a pool, stop planning in February. But it's just the way it is, and there's nothing that can be done about it. It's the way the law is set up.
Okay.
Just another thing I want to let you know, we are filing for a Mass Works grant for the sewer project coming down West Main Street. We got to get that in by next Friday, so Tabitha in the planning office has been working hard on that. I thank her, and then we have to get everything, the engineers for the water and sewer department are working on that. We got to get that filed by next Friday to hopefully receive some money on that
That's going to start at the housing, right?
at the Housing Authority, yep.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, under appointments and resignations and retirements, we have the appointment of Sarah Hillary, full-time payroll clerk in the tax collector's treasurer's office. Units?
It seems like I've just been doing interviews all summer long.
Like McDonald's.
Sarah comes to us, she's been working for Northeastern Savings Bank as a manager, and we're looking forward to having her finally in the payroll. They've been really shorthanded down there in the treasurer's office with no one doing the payroll, so they've been all stepping up to do it, and Sarah, that would be her main function down there, would be trained to do the payroll.
It was not only payroll, it's health insurance and
Right, all the
all the other payroll
benefits.
stuff that goes with it.
Yep.
So, anyone have any questions? Mr. Hubbard, you want to read this,
Want me to?
please?
I'll read it, sure. There's a notice to the Board of Selectmen from Michael D. Units, Town Manager, dated July 25th, 2017, regarding the notice of appointment for full-time payroll clerk. I hereby notify the Board of Selectmen in accordance with the provisions of Article 4, Section 2B of the Norton Charter, that acting in my capacity as the appointing authority, I have appointed the following individual as a full-time payroll clerk in the tax collector treasurer's office, Sarah Hillary. The appointment was made on July 25th, 2017, in accordance with the provisions of the Norton Charter, and will be effective August 9th, 2017, unless the Board of Selectmen vote to accept or reject this appointment prior to said date. I specifically request this Board to accept this appointment, the effective date of August 7th, 2017.
Any questions? Chair, entertain a motion to approve Sarah Hillary to the full-time payroll clerk position.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. Next, we have the appointment of Rebecca L. Maury, the full-time fire department administrative assistant. Mr. Salvo?
Here's a notice to the Board of Selectmen, Michael D. Units, Town Manager, dated July 27th, 2017, regarding notice of appointment of full-time fire administrator assistant. I hereby notify the Board of Selectmen in accordance with the provisions of the Norton Charter, provisions of Article 4, Section 2B of the Norton Charter, that acting in my capacity as the appointing authority, I have appointed the following individual as a full-time fire administrator assistant, Rebecca Maury. The appointment was made on July 26, 2017, in accordance with the provisions of the Norton Charter, and it will be effective August 10, 2017, unless the Board of Selectmen vote to accept or reject this appointment prior to said date. However, I specifically request this Board acceptance of this appointment with an effective date of August 7, 2017.
And just wanted to say, Becky has 16 years' experience working in Norton, working in the communications center, and it's a good opportunity for her to move into this position, and the fire chief and I interviewed her together and feel that she'll do a good job in this position.
Okay. This is a union position?
It is, and she's in that union
She's in
right
that
now.
same particular, so this was a
Transfer.
transfer?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone have any questions? If not, Chair, entertain a motion to approve the Rebecca Murray to the position of full-time fire administrative assistant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. And finally, we have the appointment of Brooke Durden, full-time assistant town clerk. Mr. Silva?
It's a notice to the Board of Selectmen, Michael D. Units, Town Manager, dated July 26, 2017. Notice of appointment of full-time assistant town clerk. I hereby notify the Board of Selectmen, in accordance with the provisions of Article 4, Section 2B of the Norton Charter, that acting in my capacity as the appointing authority, I have appointed the following individual as a full-time assistant town clerk. Brooke Durden. The appointment was made on July 25, 2017, in accordance with the provisions of the Norton Charter, and will be effective August 9, 2017, unless the Board of Selectmen votes to accept or reject this appointment prior to said date. However, I especially request this board to acceptance of this appointment with an effective date of August 7, 2017.
Any question? That's it.
I think I misspoke on the previous one. Brooke was the assistant manager at Northeastern
Oh,
Savings Bank.
Okay.
And we interviewed a number of people for this position, very good candidates, and I think Brooke will do a great job as the assistant town clerk.
So who's Sarah Hillary? Hillary? Where she comes from?
I did not raise Sarah's resume.
There was a time we used to have them come in so we could
Yeah.
introduce ourselves.
Right.
You know, I'm not too sure, sometimes we shouldn't do that. Okay, anyone have any questions? Seeing none, Chair, entertain a motion to approve Brooke Durden, the position of full-time assistant town clerk.
So moved.
Second?
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Sounds to me like the town clerk's gonna have their work cut out for them with these new rules and regulations regarding same-day registration.
Yeah, I can't
I
believe
can't imagine how that's going to work. It's going to cause, not only is it going to cause a lot of aggravation to the town clerks, but also to the people standing in line behind them, unless we somehow have to designate a certain,
they will, they'll have to.
they have to have a step-off somewhere where somebody else has to deal with it, because that could definitely slow down the process. Be interested to see what kind of rules and regulations they come up with. But there's one thing I can assure you of. Whatever the additional cost will be borne on us, not on the state. That's how it always works. We're looking for an appointment to of a member to the Board of Selectmen to the Bristol County Advisory Board. Huh? I want to say that Tim Giblin did that. We held that position for a number of years. And I think we gave it to him a while back and just never looked at it again. Can you find out for us what the Bristol County Advisory Board is all about?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, I've been on the Metropolitan Planning Organization as part of the SERPED. I mean, I get that. For years, we were members of the Bristol County Selectmen's Association. I know what that is, but I don't know what this is. So if you could find out, let us know. Maybe one of us will volunteer to go do it. And then we'll make the appointment.
We'll probably find out that that's the confusion, that you did have represented the Bristol County Selectmen's Association, but the advisory board, I'll find out whether the advisory board is an elected position, or I
I don't know.
I'll find out later.
Yeah.
I remember Maria Gomes being on the ballot
Right.
for that county commissioners. And it says they meet at the
She's
The
now
courthouse.
administrator.
Thursday, the courthouse at 6 PM.
Which-
Important.
which could be another reason why we never,
Yeah, because it conflicts
we
with our
never send
meeting.
anybody, we
Yeah.
can't, we're meeting on Thursday nights.
But it's August 3rd, see, they knew.
Yeah.
They knew you go every other week.
Yeah,
so
okay.
it fits right in.
Anyway, let's find out what it is. Okay, Selectmen's report and mail. Mr. Salvi, you got anything?
I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Flaherty?
I have nothing, thank you.
Streetlights. Whatever happened to the streetlights?
Just got an email from Ann Malley last week. Soon, we'll have our number soon, because originally, remember, they said it would take 6 months, and then they said, oh, no, we'll have it for you quicker than that. Well, it's got to be close to 6 months right now.
What that's about is, we found out there was money, grant money out there to remove all of our streetlights and put in new LED lighting, which would save a lot of money. But we can also, we have to take them. We have to take possession of the streetlights. Could save us a lot of money in the long run. We'd have to maintain them, take care of them, but, you know, we work a deal with a neighboring community that does their own lights. Maybe we have them on call or pay as needed, but the overall reason for us looking into it was the fact that there was grant too, right? There's some kind of grant money out there to help us. There's a lot of reasons why we should look at it, but Mass Electric is kind of dragging their feet on it. And for obvious reasons, because I'm sure they're gonna lose some money in the process, so. But if you can stay on top of that, Mike, I'd appreciate it, so we can find out what's happening with that. Okay, on the warrants and minutes, Mr. Salvo.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to approve the biweekly payroll warrant number PR2 for period ending July 15th, 2017, dated July 20th, 2017, in the amount of $716,251.19.
A motion
Second?
to approve the payroll warrant PR2, the amount of $716,251.19. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to approve the invoice warrant AP3 dated July 20th, 2017, in the amount of $2,700,383.06.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second on warrant number AP3. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to approve invoice warrant AP4 dated July 27th, 2017, in the amount of $9,333.04.
44.
44.
44 cents, sorry.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve warrant number AP4 for $1,009,333.44. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. The minutes of March 30th. Haven't had a chance to take a look at them?
You know what?
Actually,
I thought she said she was
She was
going
working
to get back to us on
number
that.
one, number two, we can't vote for him anyway because Michael wasn't here,
Of course. Yeah,
Right.
Right,
so we don't have enough. We'll have to put that on
Yeah. Okay.
next agenda. I think she was working on it.
Yeah, she said she was working
I
on
think
it.
I saw an email today that she was not quite there. Okay, next meeting's agenda is on August 10th, 2017. Have anything yet?
Yeah.
Okay. I did speak to Jim Timothy last night. Invited him to come to a meeting first part of September to recognize him for his years of service to the community in Norton. So he has agreed to do so. We just have to set up a meeting. I'll let Mike Jonas work with him to set up a meeting where we can have him come on in and we can pay tribute to the service he gave us all those years. Was it 11 years? I think it was 11 years. Okay. Okay. I declare under General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, subsection A3, the purpose of the executive session will be to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with Norton Police Association Union because a discussion of the strategies in open session would compromise the purpose of the executive session with the board and not to return to open session at the conclusion of the executive session.
Bottom paragraph? Oh, beautiful. I move that the board go into executive session under the general laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, A, 3, for the purpose of the reasons declared by the chairman, with the board not returning to open session thereafter.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Salvo?
Yes.
And I too vote yes. Motion adjourned? Adjourned. Thank you, Shane.